This SUV next to me is one of the most popular in its size segment. And after watching this video, you're gonna see why. Tom here with Go Auto, and next to me is the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, a vehicle with a legendary all-wheel drive system and a design favorable for both SUV and wagon fanatics. I love it. Most notably, you see that back here, because the vehicle sits a lot lower in terms of height. This gives you much more of that car sedan sitting feel as opposed to an SUV upright position. It's really nice. And back here, you also notice the black cladding on the rear, wheel wells, and on the floor side skirts as well. It's a nice black textured material, so it's more durable for off-roading. But up front is where you have these really sporty 5-spoke wheels. And tucked away in that is that all-wheel drive system. I have to mention again, because living in Canada, you need a good all-wheel drive system, and this vehicle certainly delivers. Now, the Crosstrek comes standard with Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist. This will give you things like adaptive cruise control, pre-collision warning, and lead vehicle assist. I love this feature because that means even if the kids in the back pull away your attention for just a second, the vehicle will let you know that the one in front is going away from you, letting you know to make sure you keep up with the flow of traffic. I love that touch, especially for having a small family. But let's talk design for a moment here. The DRLs are updated for 2025 and the whole assembly is now full LED. That includes your daytime running lights, low beams, and the fog lights down below. And up front, I also really like that Subaru didn't take the light bar approach that a lot of vehicles are doing. Instead, you get this nice gray metallic accent here that you can see painted in a nice two-tone design for this vehicle. And that paint tone can also be found on the mirrors. Now, the rear of the vehicle really showcases how much lower this vehicle is compared to other SUVs. They're usually at my head height or even taller than that. This vehicle, barely over my shoulders. But not to worry, your ground clearance and your cabin space isn't compromised at all, which is genius. And back here, you get that sporty look with these LED daytime running lights here in the back and this sporty looking diffuser down here. But this vehicle, as I mentioned before, is an adventure vehicle, and it really shows back here in the trunk because it's nice durable plastic materials not only in the trunk, but it's also on top of this painted bumper. So if you have dogs jumping in and out of the trunk or you're carrying any heavy gear, tossing it in is not going to be an issue because right down here, you're not going to be damaging any of the body paint, keeping this vehicle looking good while still being very usable. And once in the trunk here, you notice a really nice thick rubber cargo liner because if anything gets dirty, you can take this out, throw it down, hose it down, and it dries off in the sun perfect, leaving this carpet to be nice and clean at all times. And getting back here is pretty easy for lowering these seats. Because it's shallow, you can easily grab the latch and push it down, making it super easy to load up canoes, kayaks, or even smaller things than that. Now, the interior of this vehicle is really nice. You get great cabin space here in terms of leg depth and even height for your headroom, and the visibility is fantastic, both out the front and even when shoulder checking out the rear. There's almost no blind spots with this vehicle. And these seats are also super comfortable. They're very plush and nicely bolstered, and you got your heated seat buttons right down here for easy access. And they also have that same black on gray with the orange stitching, just like the back seats. A really nice touch. And I also really like the center console and how it's not fully gloss black. There's a little bit of it, but not too much. Down where your main buttons are for your heated seats and the cup holders, it's all this nice gray tone to it, and it's not gonna get scuffed up as easily or fingerprints like gloss black. These cup holders also have something really cool. We've all gotten a small coffee before from Starbucks or Tim's, and they actually have these little paddings right here, so that way the coffee can sit there, and if you have a bigger mug, you can take it out and put a larger cup in. You also have a traditional gear selector with this vehicle, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and it's really nice because it clicks nicely with each gear, so you know exactly what gear you're in, reverse, neutral, or drive. There's no confusion. Up front here, you get a really nice, easy access wireless charger, and you also have a USB-C and USB-A port, including an auxiliary cord too. Right down here, this is one of my favorite things. The center console is pretty great. It's nice and deep, but you have this nice little cubby right here, which is perfect for holding like a in-car Kleenex box, those little baggy ones. I love that. Perfect for it, especially with kids on a road trip. And up top here is your infotainment system. Now, this is the first infotainment system I've been able to get my hands on that's vertical phone styled instead of more of a landscape design. I love this because my favorite part is map and navigation. Now, as you can see right now, we are in Richmond, BC, And I don't know the area too well, and having a navigation system that not only works well, but displays everything nicely for you, and it's also really responsive to the touch and usability with the system. It comes with things like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it even has your climate controls built into it here at the bottom. But it's done in a really nice way because everything is on display for you at all times, and you can quickly click this to allow you to change things specifically or the actual fan speed. But if you don't want to do that, I love that Subaru gave you the opportunity to change it with buttons. This way it's always on display, easy access. And above that is your front and rear defrost as well as the volume and tuning knobs here. So that way it's not all screen. They definitely made a good mix between the two, which I really like. But the best part about this infotainment system has to be this little top section here, because with a system like this, you're able to actually add a little bit more to a screen, which is really nice because you can have up here your weather, fuel consumption, or even your media Bluetooth. So that way you can always have your music running and maps at the same time and get the full display of something you want specifically. And moving on to the driver's display, now it's not a full digital display like I wish it would be, but the small one on the interior is pretty great though, because Subaru is focused on your safety both inside and outside the vehicle, and this screen really shows that. It's always on your safety features, and you can go through the top part of it to allow you to see things like your trip information, fuel consumption, but like I said, primarily focused on safety. And all your safety controls are on the right side here or through the infotainment. You have your adaptive cruise control right here, as well as your drive modes for kind of more of a sport mode with the transmission or your regular mode too. My favorite button on this steering wheel has to be right down here, because right here is a little trigger, and that's your heated steering wheel, because this steering wheel is leather wrapped with the orange stitch, and that button's just kind of in a fun location to click on and click off. Now, the rear seats in this vehicle offer a ton of space. You have ample knee room, foot room, even headroom's pretty good too. The only thing I notice is that this right here kind of curls in a little bit sooner, so if you're planning on taking a nap, best to lean on the person next to you. And that's nice too, because these seats are really comfortable. They have little bolsters in them, so that way if you're going off-roading or maybe going over a curb, the people in the back are nicely hugged in this seat without being tight and constricted. And in the middle here, you can drop this down to reveal cup holders, and also as a hidden thing, right down here under Velcro straps is where you have your child seat anchor points. Now it's kind of interesting because it looks like it's just cut out from the leather to reveal it, but it's always nice to have them, especially in a vehicle like this. And up front here, you got a USB-A port and USB-C. Unfortunately though, there's no 12 volt or air vents back here. But I mean, I'm more of a window down person anyway. The 2025 Subaru Crosstrek is built on adventure. The interior cabin is spacious for the entire family, and the exterior design is awesome. If this is the kind of vehicle that interests you, head over to goauto.ca or any of their Subaru dealerships.